Hi, I'm Dani and I'm an ACE 2022 studio program artist. I suppose I've always been a pretty creative person, but I didn't know that I could go to university and study art until a friend of mine drew my portrait in her studio. And when I was there in the studios having my portrait drawn, it dawned on me that that was something that I could go and study and learn more about, and I got so excited. I guess I gave myself the test that if I could come up with a portfolio and submit it and get into an art school, that was the right direction to pivot my life to at that point. So I created the world's most heinous drawing portfolio based on a lot of copycat images from back in the days Pinterest versions, and then got into art school and here I am. It kind of sounds a bit tropey, but process is such an integral part of my making, and having space to work and make things and discover what they are and look at them and look at what's happening in the work is a really integral part of my making. And so a lot of the time what I actually show, whether it's in an exhibition or the presentation of a work, it is so much about what has come before that in the studio and my process or conversations and collaborations that have happened to that point. So while really broadly looking back over the last 5 years, my work talks to commemoration, aspiration, success and failure, there's really so much more nuance in that I find really hard to articulate. I think that painting is quite a large part of my practice and process in the studio, but I don't consider myself a painter, so I have a funny relationship with painting as, I suppose, a really key strategy to loosening up how I'm thinking so that I can approach sculpture and performance in a more fluid and open way. Being in the ACE Studio program has been really wonderful and helpful for my year in a bunch of different ways. Aside from obviously having a physical space to work in and a formalised studio, which I haven't had for 5 years, it's just so wonderful to work around the other artists that work here. I think that I've been so surprised about how different our skill sets are and how generative that's been for my work and the work I'm making. So when I'm stuck on something, I'll go and talk to Chelsea, and she'll give me her opinion on how to actually work with the material I'm working with. Yeah, lots of the artists, I guess, have had input in terms of the project I'm doing at the moment, and that's been really significant. For my work for Studios 2022, I have been looking at the Guinness World Records. The work that I'm going to present, it's an installation, it's a sculptural work. I'm challenging the current Guinness World Record title for the world's widest wig. And so I'm in the middle of making a really large hairpiece that's 2.5 meters wide, which will be set in the gallery. And then at some point, as kind of a performance work, I'll be donning the wig, putting it on my head in an attempt to break the current record.